This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 193 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. This tip is sponsored by Kentucky Performance Products. They offer supplements designed to give you the most value for your dollars. Visit them at kppusa.com. Enjoy today's tip. Hey everybody, Glenn the Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today we are thrilled to have back with us the internationally respected trainer and clinician with experience in many types of training, Julie Goodnight, and a friend of the Horse Radio Network. And as you know, Julie is best known for her award-winning television show airing weekly on RFD TV called Horse Master with Julie Goodnight, and she truly is a horse master. Through the show, Julie hopes to help all riders master their equestrian dreams and skills. As the horse master, Julie shares with us the wisdom she's gained by teaching her master-level CHA status and encourages all horse people to become the leaders and masters their horses want them to be. We're going to be back right in a minute with our latest tip from Julie Goodnight, and we so appreciate her joining us here on a regular basis on Horse Tip Daily. But first, we have to speak about another master in their domain, and that is Kentucky Performance Products. At Kentucky Performance Products, quality assurance is a key ingredient found in every product they sell. Each supplement is manufactured to exacting standards in certified facilities. Their ingredients are sourced from highly reputable suppliers, and their formulas are fixed to ensure consistency in each bucket. So what does the promise of quality assurance mean to you and your horse? It means you can trust that when you purchase a supplement from Kentucky Performance Products, you will see the results that you expect and the quality that you can count on. They guarantee it. Kentucky Performance Products, helping you keep your horses healthy, sound, and competitive. Visit them at kppusa.com. That's kppusa.com. Well, hi, Julie, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. It's always good to speak with you.
Thanks, Glenn. It's good to be back.
You know, it's good we're on limited time tonight because you and I always tend to chat for a long time when we're not recording, and then we never get to the recording. So it's like tonight it was like, okay, we have to get to business. But we did a last tip that we did, and people can actually go back to horsetipdaily.com, and they can search under the Experts tab on the left-hand side for all of Julie's tips, and they can go back and listen to them all at once if they want. And you've done a number of them for us, and we appreciate that. But last one we did was we had an email from a listener by the name of Lynn who had a question about stall behavior, and she also had another question about the same horse, actually. And she said, once this horse is in the cross ties, she nips at the cross ties and tosses her head when I begin to brush her before we go out for our ride. Her owner suggested holding her head while I brush her until she gets the idea that biting at the ties is not acceptable. Can you give any more tips to curb this behavior before it escalates? So there you go, cross ties.
Well, there's a lot of little topics within that question. And, one is just simply standing still while tied, whether the horse is cross-tied or tied to a rail or whatever. And that's something the horse learns. Some horses are quicker to learn than others. Some horses are more impatient than others. But on the particular subject of cross ties, I think it's really important for people to understand that cross ties really aren't the best deal for a horse. We like them. They're convenient for us.
I was going to say, that's just what I was going to say.
Yeah. And of course, they're really popular in barns and boarding stables and stuff. But for the horse, his head is so constricted when he's in cross ties that it can, just that alone, the constriction, he gets pressure when he moves up and down or side to side. So it's hard for him to relax in the cross ties. A lot of times I see people and the cross ties are high enough or just tight enough where the horse can't really put his head down as far as he would when he would relax. So he's actually kind of holding his head up in the cross ties. Also, one of my favorite emails that went around the internet years and years ago. It's kind of recently made it's recently resurfaced.
Isn't it funny how those work?
Yeah, it's definitions as written. Excuse me, as written by the horse,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of hilarious definitions in there. But the way the horse defines cross ties is a gymnastic apparatus. And anybody who's had much experience with cross ties has probably had the experience of horses getting fidgety and fussing and maybe popping up and losing their footing and turning over or falling down. So cross ties really need to be used with an awareness that, first of all, it could be uncomfortable for the horse. You want to make sure that they're slack enough that the horse can really put his head in a relaxed position, and also make sure that he's on a really good non-slip surface, because if he does get fidgety and fussy, he doesn't have his head to balance because of the constriction of the cross ties. So it's fairly easy for a horse to get in a wreck in cross ties and slip and fall down and then, kind of be twisted up in the cross ties. And, of course, you always want to make sure cross ties have a breakaway component. And the breakaway should be at the end that's on the wall, not at the end that's on the horse, so that if he does break it, he's still got a lead attached to him. But having said all that, just kind of having a general awareness that the cross ties may be what she's describing is a very irritated and fussy and fidgety horse.
Right.
If the horse otherwise doesn't display that type of behavior, I'd start looking at, what are we doing to cause this horse to be so irritated and fussy and biting? So I might, question her, is there a way she can just straight tie the horse or tie him to the wall just on one side or tie him to a hitching rail or a fixed object, and that might be more comfortable for her horse. But having said all that and hoping that she has a good understanding that cross ties maybe just need to be used with awareness, when I do have a horse that's fussy and fidgety while I'm handling him when he's tied, whether he's cross-tied or tied to the rail, I'll often put another lead on the horse. So if I had the cross ties hooked up, I'd still have a lead hanging from the halter. If I had the horse just straight tied with the lead rope, I'd hook a second lead to the halter, and I'll just hold that halter loosely in my free hand. And when the horse moves or fusses or fidgets, I'll just snap that rope, say whoa, and snap the rope as a correction so that the horse gets a correction for being fussy. The thing that she described about having another person hold the horse, the only problem I would be concerned about there is if the horse is irritated at the cross ties because of the confinement and constriction, and then you put another person in front of the horse and another lead rope constricting him further, might kind of make the horse more irritable. So I would be looking at kind of reducing that possibility rather than increasing it with another person standing there at the horse's head. But having, to do that, the best thing is prevention. And, I really encourage people when they do groundwork with horses to work on the horse standing still, perfectly still when you're handling him and on your command, away from being tied up, away from the cross ties. If I can turn and face my horse and snap the rope and say, whoa, and then that horse knows he's now required to stand perfectly still until I tell him to move, then when you have a problem in the cross ties, if you do put that second lead rope on and you snap it and say, whoa, he knows what that means. So I think she's going to have to go back and do some homework with this horse and work on standing still, maybe ground tying. There's lots of information on my website about that training process. But those are the things that I would work on in terms of getting your horse to have better manners when tied.
And that website, of course, is juliegoodnight.com, and there is all kinds of things on there. You know, we often talk about your schedule on there and the schedule of your TV show, but there's all kinds of good tips and learning information on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
you bet.
And that, of course, is juliegoodnight.com. Well, Julie, we hope that helps Lynn, and we thank you again for being on the show, and we'll have you back again soon.
Great. It's my pleasure.
Well, thanks once again to Julie for joining us. She's a very busy lady, and she takes the time out to stop by here, and we certainly appreciate that. Of course, she was on what is one of the most popular guests we ever had on the Stable Scoop radio show. You can listen to that interview at stablescoop.com, episode number 40. Well, you can drop me an email, too, and let me know what you think of the show, or if you have some ideas for guests at glenn@horseradionetwork.com. That's GLENN at horseradionetwork.com. And I wanted to mention that the last tip of this week coming up in 2 tips from now, not tomorrow but the next day, we will be having a contest announcement where you can win something really cool, and we're announcing it here first on Horse Tip Daily. So keep listening every day. You could win cool stuff. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.